My name is Sandesh, and I'm the co-founder of Explico. We are basically an assessment-based learning platform that uses AI and machine learning to measure the learning outcomes and identify the strengths and weaknesses. We understand it's a pretty crowded market and very competitive, but we find that in spite of this, there is a lot of opportunities for edtech space. And I think the classic example was the COVID last year, and where the schools and kids have struggled moving from a classroom learning to an online learning. We still feel that the most of the solutions which are provided right now across the globe is focusing on learning, and that's where we find the major challenges. There is not enough system that measures the learning effectiveness, and I think with the technology like AI and machine learning and data, I think this system can be more effective, and we can help the students and schools to understand what are the learning needs. And if we are able to focus on finding the right kind of a problem, I think the learning solution could be much more easier. Uh, I mean, the biggest challenge with most of the schools has been that though the technology was there from almost more than 2 decades, I think the schools have been the most truest adapter of technology. And that has changed a bit since last year. And this comes as a good news for most of the edtech players that they can enter into this very competitive market. Coming back to the solution, Explico works in a very simple model, which is we are keeping assessment as the core system where students come in, they take assessment. Whenever the students come into the Explico platform, the system reads from its previous performance and generates the series of assessment that helps to understand, continuously measure the students and find their strengths and weaknesses. Based on this report, the system analyzes their need, their weaknesses and their strengths, and then of course the learning path. The learning part is in the form of the live sessions where we are looking at in the future as a marketplace where any tutor, any teacher across the globe can come into our system and provide the learning solution for these students. And of course, the growth is one part where the student goes through this complete cycle and continuously measures his performance. The most interesting part of our system, and which is probably the heart of Explico, is our assessment platform. And how does it work? So I will just roughly go.
Hi everyone, I'm Desmond from Alpha AI. We revolutionize car insurance claim process by empowering drivers.
Hello.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, sorry. So I'll not go much more in depth into this particular solution, but I'll just roughly explain how the whole system works. So we have a large set of question data bank where the questions are being generated into different parameters of learning, and then from there, the calibrated data comes into a assessment system. The students take assessment. Whenever they come back into the system goes back to the database and finds out what are his previous performance. And based on that, the series of questions are being generated for the student to continuously measure. And of course, there is, as we move with larger size of database, we are looking at something like a future projection based on the historic data. So this is something how the AI engine works. We are still at a very mid stage of this system, and as we grow with the user base, we are intent to getting it more stronger, the entire platform. The system is been developed with various features. We can drive an assessment. We have our own live session platform, which also has a live assessment feature, which is a bit unique than what is happening right now with various other video platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. This helps us to also measure the live assessment effectively. This helps us to for the teachers also to understand whether the live sessions are being conducted effectively to the students, and students are able to understand what is being taught. And this is something which is a major problem which most of the schools and teachers have been facing right now using the other video platforms. We have been doing few interesting things. I think B2C is something which our market is right now in Singapore. We already have around 3,000 users. We have conducted more than 800 hours of live sessions. We have been doing regular assessment. More than 10,000 questions are being answered every month. So this model pretty much works in Singapore, but yes, we are also looking at the hybrid model and the B2B model, which is more like a SaaS platform, where schools can also use the Explico platform and put in their own content and derive the same kind of a result. There are some interesting projects which are going on in Africa and Indonesia and Vietnam. Our business model remains just like any other successful model, we have a premium stuff where we are keeping it open for every user who can come into our system and access the data. There will always be a free stuff for them to use every month. This allows us to, have the user acquisition much faster. And then, of course, then we convert those user base into the subscription and the premium model. The company is a young startup. We started in 2019. It's been just 2 years. We have more than 3,000 users. And